In today's video, we embark on a fascinating journey to the steep summit of Mount Hermon in Israel, a place shrouded in both biblical history and contemporary mystery. It's here, 2 miles above the sea level, where an earth-shaking discovery was made, one that the United Nations intriguingly seems to be concealing from public view. Now, let's start by delving into the rich tapestry of biblical lore surrounding this sacred site. As many of you may know, it was on the slopes of Mount Hermon that Enoch, the ancient prophet, spoke of the Watchers, fallen angels who descended to earth. And not far from there, at the base of this same mountain, Yeshua, that is Jesus, chose to deliver a profound declaration to his disciples, mentioning the gates of hell. At the base of that mountain is where Yeshua took his disciples near the end of his ministry. It was to a spot the ancients called the gates of hell, and it was there he told them, "On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it," in the Gospel of Matthew. Was Yeshua talking about the mountain? Mount Hermon, historically known as Bashan, carries a weighty legacy. It was a place where ancient giants roamed, a breeding ground for pagan worship, and a center for spiritual warfare. Even in the days of the divided Israelite kingdom, its influence persisted, with Jeroboam establishing a pagan religious center nearby. Our attention then turns to the renowned biblical archaeologist Charles Warren, whose exploration on Mount Hermon unearthed astonishing relics. Among these discoveries was a standing stone, or stele, bearing inscriptions purportedly linked to the Watchers, or fallen angels. The significance of this artifact cannot be overstated, considering its potential connection to that ancient oath sworn by these celestial beings to corrupt humanity's destiny. Yet, what adds intrigue to this narrative is the curious disappearance of photographs and documentation related to the ancient temple complex where Warren made his findings. And what stands in place of this sacred site today? None other than a United Nations outpost, raising eyebrows and prompting questions about the organization's role in safeguarding, or perhaps suppressing, this historical legacy. But let's not stop there. The inscription on the stele, upon closer examination, reveals nuances that challenge conventional interpretations. Pastor Doug Hamp's insights shed light on a possible mistranslation, suggesting that instead of referring to a holy God, the inscription might actually allude to a darker deity, perhaps none other than Satan himself. Yeshua and his disciples knew about this area of the world that most Christians know nothing about today. Sure, we know about Peter's famous confession. We know it took place in a town called Caesarea Philippi, but most Christians don't know that that city was at the base of this Mount Hermon, or that the very gates of hell, or Hades, were there, a gaping cave at the base of the mountain. 6 days after Peter's confession of faith at the gates of hell, Yeshua took Peter, James, and John up on that high mountain. What high mountain? The nearest one was right in front of them, Mount Hermon. It was on that high mountain that Yeshua was transfigured before them so they could see his divinity. Yeshua likely did this on that very spot up there at the summit where that temple was, where the angels' rebellion started, where they descended to earth according to Enoch. So it is almost a certainty that Yeshua chose that spot to transform himself so the disciples could see it, and more importantly, so the angels, the fallen angels, could see who he was and what their future would be like. That spot was the location of Satan's minion attack on the world, and God was going to announce his counterattack at that same location. This juxtaposition of spiritual significance is striking, to say the least. Now, as we pivot to the modern era, we find ourselves confronted with the convergence of biblical prophecy and geopolitical intrigue. The United Nations, with its presence atop Mount Hermon, assumes a pivotal role in this unfolding narrative. Could it be that the organization's actions are entwined with ancient prophecies, paving the way for a future pact that echoes the fallen angel's oath? Indeed, the stage seems set for a dramatic culmination, with the UN's proposed Summit for the Future looming on the horizon alongside talks of a global governance paradigm shift. The implications are profound, suggesting a nexus between biblical eschatology and contemporary geopolitics. In conclusion, the enigmatic saga of Mount Hermon serves as a reminder of the intricate interplay between spiritual history and geopolitical dynamics. As we navigate these complexities, it's imperative to remain vigilant, discerning the signs of the times and seeking deeper insights into the mysteries that continue to unfold on this sacred mountaintop. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Let us continue to explore, question, and contemplate the profound mysteries of the biblical narratives that surround us.